Hey everybody, we're kind of branching out here into some new stuff. So what I did was I took my first geometry program, first geometry shader program, and what I did is I decided to take this code which was hardwired into the geometry shader, which actually just creates 4 points, and that's basically two triangles, which makes a quad, a square, where I can map a texture onto it. So I figured instead of fooling around with hardwiring in this, and I've been doing the Clash of Code, I decided to make a function to make my life easier because functions are so much better. Okay. So step by step, one line at a time, all I did was I went down here and I looked at, this is the actual function itself. So it uses this is the function call that I'm replacing this hardwired code with. So this function call I put in here, and then I slowly figured out what I needed in order to produce the vertices. So the first thing I need was to fill in these variables, right? The final color, GL position, and then call that emit vertex. Okay, so the final color I needed to get this text offset variable, which down here is, oh yeah, that's how that does that. It's basically a variable that I created as a local variable, and then I set it equal to this final color.xy, which is a vector 3. The final color is actually sent in, or wait, in up here, through our color, and then it becomes part of the actual thing right here. Let's see, right here. The way that IntelliSense works is a little awkward. So final color equals our color, which is sent in as a vector 3, and we're only using two of the we're only using two of the vector components. So basically final color equals vector 3, and then use those two vector components and then a 0. So that's what I did up here with the first line. And then of course to make this happen I had to send in the vector 2 first as a point, and I called it first point. Send it in final color down here. That is very awkward IntelliSense, but it's fine. Final color.xy is the first parameter, and then the next line is the GL position equals GL0 GL in 0 dot GL position, which is sent into the geometry shader. That's the vertices that we're working on. In this case, I'm just sending a single point, and I want it to be transformed by the geometry shader into a quad that draws a texture on the quad. So it's going to be a square. And in this case, the texture is the gem thing that we do. So plus, I take the position and then I add a slight offset to create this cube. So we're doing the negative xy. So it's basically, the 4 points of the cube, and then it's all based on the center, right? So then in order to make this happen, I had to use this half size x, half size y, 0 and 1. That's the position. And then these are calculated up here in the actual shader, depending upon which type that we choose. And this, we're branching off into type. I've set the value equal to 2. I also do stuff for value equal to 1 and value equal to 0 and value equal to 3. But I just created a new type, made it 2, and that's what this type is doing. So we're going to take advantage of this half size x and half size y, whoops, and we're going to send it into the function, see, as floats. See, that's right up here. So the float half x and the float half y, those are going to be sent into the function, and then I just use those, and then go ahead and call the emit vertex function, and then so that creates the first vertex, and then you're creating 3 other vertices, so you've got the 4 vertices of the quad, so the basically the square. And then basically once I'm done with that, the function does everything. So instead of hardwiring in the 4 points, I can just send in the half size x, half size y, which is the center of the quad, and I can send in the final color.xy, which is and then it draws them in here. So you've got, these are just points, literally just a single pixel point, and I've blown them up in the geometry shader to be the gems. So anyways, I just the beginning of what I wanted to do with functions, because now I can do whatever I want with a single function call, and it makes it so much easier to do the programming inside of this particular code block here, and so I'm going to actually do a little bit more. But I wanted to share what I've done so far, and thanks for watching.